Hey guys, I am back with a new video today. We are finally checking out the class tier list for 4.0. Now 4.0 came out a while ago and I want to wait to make this video so people get used to the new classes and the changes on the nerfs and buffs of the different classes before making this video. And we're going to look at every single class and see where they rank on the tier list. I have it from SS to Yikes, Yikes being the worst of course. And I have Diamond with me. Diamond plays the game a lot, so he has way more knowledge about the classes currently. So hopefully this video can give you guys some knowledge about the different classes. If you're a new player, what class to choose. We're gonna go through PvE, PvP. It's good for free-to-play players, and which are the most competitive classes currently. So before we get into this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna try split the video up so you guys can see on the video when we are talking about tanks, healers, and the DPSs. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get right into it. Alright, Diamond, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Alright, perfect. Now let's... So you play healer, right? Main?
Actually,
have you changed?
I play many things right now. Mostly I play Necromancer.
Okay.
Because like healing is not challenging anymore, in my opinion. Like everybody can heal like most other things.
Okay, but then let's start with healers. Okay, let's start with healers. We can start with the Lightbringer.
Lightbringer?
Yes. So what? Before Lightbringer used to be strong, and then they got super nerfed. Now after 4.0, where do you rank the Lightbringer and why?
I would rank them S probably, because they have easy time healing everything. Like even with like both masteries, like with both like Shining Light and the Shield mastery, both are good like healing wise most of the times. And he does like decently good DPS. And his ult is super good in raids because of the damage reduction. Like there can be many situations where this can save the whole raid.
Okay.
And like addition, like with Shield Mastery, the like additional HP that it provides, it's like very good, especially for like weaker players. If you know that they're just gonna get one shot, you're shielding them, and they're good. So it's very good.
How is the damage on the Lightbringer? Is it still good? Is it still...
damage is not as good as it used to be, like in 1.0, you know, when they were just like at the same level as some damage dealers, but I think they are the same with most of the healers right now, like damage wise.
Okay.
Like for example, Lightbringer does the same damage with like his Shining Light Mastery as Saint does, or as I think even Vampire.
Okay, so how is the class in like PvP?
In PvP, I have not seen many Lightbringers actually, because like most of the times, clerics just go X-Arch in PvP. Like I have not seen many Lightbringers, but I don't think they are gonna do like really well, just because like the shield is not as strong in PvP.
Okay.
And the damage, yeah, it's not the same output damage wise in PvP as it is in PvE.
But they're pretty good, like a choice for as a healer to choose if you put it on S.
Yeah.
How would you say they're for like free-to-play players? Would you suggest the Lightbringer?
Yes, because again, like in current scenario, healing is not an issue. And with like Lightbringer, it's actually pretty easy to play. Just like you can spam the shield and you're gonna get the like whole team like to 100% easily if you are not like really behind.
Okay. And
also it helps for free-to-play players, because when I was like really young, I used to have problems with HP.
Yeah.
If you go Shield Mastery on Lightbringer, you can just provide like tons and tons of extra HP for you.
You prefer like the Shield Mastery for the Lightbringer? That's the...
At the start, yes, because at the start it's easier to heal with the Shield Mastery, and again, like the HP which it provides like extra HP with in the form of a shield is like very nice. So
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep continuing with the clerics. Let's go to the Saint. A Saint was super strong. It's been super strong lately. How is it in 4.0? Yeah?
I think right now Saint is the strongest healer.
Okay.
Just because of the thing that it has the targeted heals, and his targeted heals are very strong. He can heal, like he can target 6 people and heal them like pretty well, and it's like super needed in like new content in like guild.
Yeah, like raids and stuff.
Yes, it's like super valuable in like Frostbite Lands Adventure, like new raid, and also like the Nox. It's
Okay.
super needed. Yeah, without Saints, it's like way harder to do those raids.
And that's a
So,
good
yeah.
class for like new players too, right? It's very easy to play.
It's an insane class in my opinion. Like it has the easiest way of healing. Like you can just literally spam one button and it's gonna be enough. And also like it has insane damage reduction skill. Like they added those swap skills mechanics, right? When you can just swap between like skills. And the new skill which Stan got is like Sage's Blessing. It provides insane damage reduction for like 10 seconds. It's pretty broken in my opinion. It gives you like immunity to crowd control and damage reduction.
So it's good for PvP also then, if it can give you immunity to
again, like if you're
crowd
a
controls.
cleric and if you want a PvP, just go Exarch.
Exarch. Okay, so let's jump on to Exarch. Exarch is the last cleric. Where would you rank this on the tier list?
I would rank it at A. Just because like healing wise he's not that strong. Like constantly he can just heal like 3 people or 4 people. I think it's 3 people.
Okay.
And in many overlords it's not enough. Like you constantly need to like top players to 100% like full party.
Oh, okay.
And in raids especially, like you don't really need a healer who just heals like 3 people. You would just like, of course Exarch has insane DPS, that's why I'm ranking him like not in like B or C. He has insane DPS, like he can match some damage dealers.
Oh, okay, that's really good.
DPS, yeah, like it's insane. Like it's on the Lightbringer level probably right now. Like,
so it's like a PvP. It's like good for PvP.
In PvP, he's like broken. He's like the worst. Like he's the strongest PvP class right now in my opinion because he just does everything. He heals himself. His damage is insane. His dots are insane. And because of the way this class works, it's also good against battle mages, which are like also very broken in PvP just because of the dot mechanic. I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah.
Exarch can easily shred through like their shields and stuff. So yeah, like
I'm guessing it's also good. It's like a whale class, right? Like if you spend a lot of money, you can probably like keep up with DPSs in like overlords and dungeons. It's more for like whales. So you wouldn't suggest this for like free-to-play players, probably.
I would never, because like if you go Exarch, you either want to prove something, or you just want to make your life harder. And as a free-to-play player, life is hard anyways. So.
Yeah. All right, let's jump on to the next one. That was the clerics. We start with the Archon. Now Archon is a special kind of healer. Like I haven't seen many like melee healers in a lot of games, but Archon has been super strong from the last I think starting 2.0 or late 2.0 and then 3.0, but now 4.0.
3.0 I think.
Yeah.
They buffed him in 3.0 like real hard, so
now how is it in 4.0? Has there been any changes? Is it still super strong? Where would you rank this?
It's very strong. Like currently, the thing that he lost his like 5% crit chance buff because he transferred to tier 3.
So it's a buffer.
That's like one downside. No, like he used to provide like extra 5% crit chance like in 3.0, like due to like tier 2 and stuff. But now, like since everybody has tier 3, it's like lost that bonus, but still it has like insane ult, which provides like 20% damage boost, like or something like that. Like it buffs damage insanely. Like with Archon, like for example, if I do 3 million with like usual healers, with Archon I do 3.3 million. So it's like
and it's a tanky class too, right? It's a
very tanky class, and you can literally auto most of the content with it because it's just like very.
Where would you rank this on the tier list?
SS like.
SS with Saint, yeah.
He's there, yeah. He's up there with Saint because like you need Archons and you need Saints in raid, like both of those.
Okay, and for free-to-play players, how would you suggest this class?
It's very good.
But it's hard. Good. Is it hard? Would you say it's hard to learn because of the melee melee range or anything?
No, not really. Because in this game, it's not really punishing to be a melee as a healer. Because like again, he has a little bit of range with a rallying strike, like with his main healing ability, and also he has like aches which he throws, and it heals like people from distance a little bit. And also, like due to the thing that he can place his banner everywhere, it's like minus 20% damage to the whole party.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty broken. And him being a melee, it's not a bad thing for him in my opinion.
That was the Archon. Now, the last healers we have are Vampire. So let's start with the Vampire before we go to the Bard. How was the Vampire? And I used to be like a good AoE DPS healer.
Yeah.
How was it in 4.0?
Vampire, it's actually getting better and better as the time passes. Because the thing is that like the skill that they have is called Drain Life. And earlier it was not that relevant because like the stats of the healers were not so good and it was not healing enough. But now, since the like stats of everybody got so high, the Drain Life is healing like big numbers, and it's like one of the fastest healing skills in game. I think it heals every like 0.4 seconds.
Oh.
So it's like Vampire. It's like easily healing everything, like flawlessly. It's like one of the best Overlord healers right now.
It's like an S, right, on the list.
Yeah, it's totally S. I would even put him in SS, but the thing is that he's not quite there yet. But as the time passes, I'm telling you, like in the future, I think the Vampires are gonna be the strongest healers just because of the way they Drain Life.
But since it's inflated by stats a lot, you wouldn't recommend this for free-to-play players, would you?
I could recommend this to free-to-play players also, because again, like the content is not that challenging, and you're like you're gonna have enough healing most of the times, and he does like good AoE DPS, and also he's like he got even like a better single target DPS right now since the like tier 3 bonus. And actually, what most of the Vampires do, they go like tier 3 Necro set, which gives them like 80% more damage on Drain Life, which gives them even better DPS as they had before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all the healers so far are actually really decent.
Yeah,
now let's go to the Bard. Now the Bard, I'm guessing, isn't that strong because it hasn't been for a while.
Well, one downside of the Bard is I don't think anybody talks about it. But the thing is, the haste is their worst enemy. You know how haste works? Like it decreases the casting speed, but it doesn't decrease the like skill cooldown. So the main healing source that bards had, like which made them like good to play in 1.0, for example, was like Song of Heroes, I think this is called. And this the skill which shields like 16 players at the same time. Like
and it gave a damage reduction.
I'm not sure it gave damage reduction, but it was like very good healing. But as the time passed, bards got more and more haste, and they're like Song of Heroes like less because the casting speed is like increased.
But didn't Song of Heroes also give like a buff?
There was another song for that, like it's like the pink skill. Like I'm not entirely sure about the name, but there are like two songs which Bard can play. It's like the red song, which increases the damage, and it's the green song, which heals people. And the green song, like since the haste increased, like the casting speed decreased, but the like cooldown of the skill itself did not decrease. So right now, what is happening is like this skill has, for me, like it has like 6 seconds cooldown, right? And when I use this skill for 3 seconds, I'm casting this song, so I'm healing everything and anything like easily. But when the casting like is over, there are 3 seconds which like I don't have like this song anymore. I cannot like reuse it. So for 3 seconds, I cannot heal like full party. You understand? So and
it's not very reliable, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
so where would you rank this?
I would rank it in B. Because like he can do most of the content, in my opinion. He can like really do that. Yeah. And it's just again like he doesn't have anything special, which like he does best in this game. Like if you are talking like damage, like extra HP, which alt provides, like Lightbringers are way better at that. Yeah. If you are talking healing wise, Saints and like everybody out here.
What about like free-to-play players? Should they use Bard or would just? Now there's many better options, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That is the healers. We have Saint and Archon still going super strong. SS Lightbringer is a better choice now than it used to be. And the Vampire is going strong, might be SS eventually. Then you have the Exarch for good damage, or if you whale and you want to flex your damage, it's a way to go. Yeah. But for free-to-play players, these 4 options at the top is a definitely good choice to choose from. But now, that was all the healers. I didn't miss any, so...
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Alright, so let's go to the tanks. Since we talk about tanks, gonna start with Dragon Rider because it is my favorite class.
I know.
But how is the Dragon Rider doing now?
Should I be honest or should I just?
No, honest. I mean, it hasn't been the best for a long time, so.
Yeah, I would rank them in like A or B. Like I have him in B ranking in my my ranking system, but for you, I can give it A.
All right, let's give it A. Let's give it A.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's give it A. But it used to have like, if you had a high parry, you could like dodge any boss attacks. But I heard they changed something with that, right?
I'm not entirely sure about that, but the thing is, survivability, it's not an issue. Like, again, like, we're so out here in the content right now, healing and, like, tanking something is not an issue. Like, every tank is doing it. Like, almost every tank is doing it. So, like, having parry rate to, like, not get hit by bosses is not a big deal. And earlier, one of the, like, best things that Dragon Rider had was that it had insane damage, right? Like, it was the best damage dealing tank.
Yeah.
Now, like, it's not even close to that. Like, there are 3 or 4 tanks which do way more damage than Dragon Rider.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, and he also doesn't have the same, like, trash control as other tanks do, so he's kind of meh.
Meh, okay. Yeah, that's understandable. It used to be, like, decent in PvP and stuff because it had, like, the AoE stuns, but, of course, we had the Battle Mage, which is way stronger, so let's talk about the Battle Mage.
Okay. It's like insanely strong. It has like.
I'm guessing it's already SS, right? Like it's always been SS.
Of course.
Yeah, always. No matter what update, what patch, Battlemate has always been SS. So.
Actually, I think in 2.0 they were not as strong because bosses were hitting pretty hard. And the downside the Battle Mages had was that like they were not good at like tanking pure damage. Like they're thin because of the like armor which they have. It's like mage armor, so it's durable.
The Dragon Rider had the advantage because they had the parry and dodge rate, so you could like dodge every single attack, while Battle Mage had to actually tank all the attacks. But now Battle Mage is like super strong, right?
Yeah, he is tanking everything easily, and again his like trash control is like insane.
Long range aggro, good control,
and
good for PvP.
Ult is very broken because you are just like invincible for like 10 seconds, I think. It lasts for that long.
Wow, is that a buff they got? They didn't used to have that.
No, like they had this like swirling thing, like the tornado thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they always had that, and like when you are pulling like all the trash in overlords, especially if you're a low tank, like you're parrying everything and anything, and you're also like controlling those like trash mobs to like do less damage and like reduce their power and everything. Like the ult is also like very strong in my opinion.
Yeah, so the tanks, if you want to go for one, is definitely Battle Mage, and I don't think they will get like a nerf anytime soon because they've been going strong for a long time, so you can't go wrong with Battle Mage.
I just remember that Battle Mage got one buff. Like the issue that Battle Mage had was that he didn't have a single target aggro, like the strong so but single target aggro, which should.
Now they gave it a single target aggro.
Yeah, like they gave him the swap skill. Yeah. They gave him the swap skill, so now he has just a strong like.
Now they have everything. How is the Battle Mage damage? Because it didn't used to be like the top.
It's not that good, but again, like as I've told you, the reality right now doesn't require people to do like as much damage as they needed before. So tanks are not needed to do as much damage, so it's okay.
All right, so that's the Battle Mage. Let's move on to the Guardian.
Yeah. Guardian is very strong right now. Guardians, like, I think they're using Gladiator tier set. That's the one thing that you're gonna see actually. They're like classes are using the like set pieces of other classes. Like as I told you, vampires are using Necromancer, for example.
Yeah.
And Guardians are like I'm not like totally sure because I'm not very familiar with like Guardian and Vanguard. But I think they're both using the like Gladiator set and also the Mastery. They have like they're the best damage dealing tanks right now with Templar. Like Guardian, Vanguard, and Templar are the best, like damage wise.
And then defense wise, how would you rank them?
Defense wise, as I know, they're super good. Like we're talking about Guardian, right? So
Guardian.
Is super good. yeah, Guardian is super good against like physical damage, and he used to be susceptible to magic damage, but right now again like we're outgearing everything like
So
pretty
it doesn't
hard.
really
So
matter. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. And again, like his trash control is also good, not as good as Battle Mage, of course, but it's like yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
I put it on.
It's
I put it on
damage.
S. The Guardian.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So it's like an overall like good tank. You can like do a little
Yeah,
bit
it
of
is.
everything. And then the Vanguard, I'm guessing it's also an S, right? Next to the Guardian?
Yeah, Vanguard is also, and I don't actually distinguish between them to be honest. Like to me, they are all the same.
Yeah, I think Vanguard used to have like the immunity to death. I don't think Guardian had that. That was the difference.
I'm not entirely sure about like the passive skills of those like classes. But the thing is, like Guardian, like the only difference that I like knew between them was that like Guardian had like defense bonus for the whole party with tier 2. But now, like I'm not entirely sure about the difference between these two classes. But I think Guardian does overall more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think but like Guardian was never like chosen a lot early, but Vanguard has been like decent throughout all the patches. So like if I were to choose between these two, I would go for the Vanguard, but like you can't go wrong with it. It's like the usual warrior tank style class, the fights with the shield, with those charge attacks. How are they in PvP?
In PvP, I think they have a bunch of crowd control, which helps them a lot. But like all the Guardians and Vanguards that I know of, they just go Gladiator or like other classes which are more powerful in PvP.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's not as disturbing as Battle Mage, for example.
Okay, so let's start with Templar. Now, Templar has always been like a really good tank, but it's been also getting a lot of buffs. And instead of like being like super tanky, it relies more on shields and shielding your allies and just like healing overall, right?
Well, I wouldn't agree with the fact that he's not tanky. Like he's one of the like tankiest tanks because like I've been healer for 2.0. I've been not a strong healer, so like I've known every ounce of like tank HP very well. And Templars have been like the best friends to me like since 2.0 because like they were very tanky. If something went wrong and they got too much damage again, they could heal themselves back up. And they also have like just that immunity for like 6 seconds where they don't die, which is also pretty valuable. And the shield which they provide against like physical damage for like 5 people. And it's like the same in like 4.0. The only difference is that Templars before didn't have enough damage. Like Dragon Riders were destroying them in terms of damage, but Templars are one of the best damage dealing tanks right now. Like,
would you say it's like the top one damage dealing tank?
Again, like top players and top tanks are testing it, but as I see, Templar, Guardian, and Vanguard are dealing same damage right now.
Which one? All Templar, Guardian, and Vanguard all do like really good DPS.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like if you like tank that can like shield and heal, I would go for the Templar. But if you like the old school warrior tank, you can go between like the Guardian or the Vanguard. But as a free-to-play player,
have more control.
Yeah.
And as a free-to-play player, I would totally recommend Templar because
I mean you can never go wrong as a free-to-play player with any of the tanks, I think, because tank is like a very friendly to free-to-play players.
We're gonna talk about this later because there are other tank classes coming, but you can actually go wrong with free-to-play as a tank.
Okay, let's talk about the last one, the Mountain King.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant.
He's the still bottom one, I'm guessing.
Well, as I've talked with some like top tanks in like Europe, they are not considering as like worst tank. They don't think it's like super bad, but like from what I'm seeing, like for like when I see new players and like undergeared players, they're just super bad with the Mountain King. Maybe it's like hard class to play, I don't know, but they're having like survivability issues. Like most of the times, like I've seen so many Mountain Kings getting one shot by so many bosses. And again, like I think he is not the best tank like in enemies. Like
I also heard they had like aggro issues too. at
I
one
think
point.
they are better at that right now. But again, like just the thing that they are not as tanky and as other tanks. Plus, I don't think they have like as much crowd control as other tanks do. It just
That's one of the newest classes too. Yeah, I just think like any other tank choice except the Mountain King is probably like the best bet for you.
Yeah.
But
And the Mountain King, the good thing about Mountain King was that it was at least good in PvP, but they even nerfed him. Like he had insane shield, like he would get your damage back at you, like when you were attacking him.
yeah, like a reflect.
Yes, reflection, but they like tuned it down, so it's like reflecting way less, and it's not even like that impactful right now.
So it's just like a low tier class. So I put it on B. I should have put it on like trash.
I also have him on B. Yeah.
Okay. We keep it on B.
You can do the content with him if you like really try, but overall, just go with any other tank.
That is all the tanks. I don't think I missed any tanks. Gladiator is considered a DPS, so we're gonna start with the DPSs now. And let's start with what you say. You're playing Necromancer now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with Necromancer. They used to be super strong, then they got weak. I didn't get weak, but other classes got stronger. But now they're doing good again, right? So where would you put Necromancer and why?
I'm putting him in S just because, like, in SS, in my opinion, only Crystal Shaper can go. Like, Necromancer is no way near Crystal Shaper. But, overall, I like Necromancer's thing that it does more damage over time, and it does more damage after 35% of the, like, enemy. It's, like, super fun when you're just, like, going up and up and up. Like, it's one of the best feelings I've had in this game. And again, like damage-wise, it's like pretty decent. And the thing that he's ranged also helps him because like most of the guild dungeons right now are purely made for like ranged classes, in my opinion.
Does it still rely on like the dots? Because you remember it used to be a problem in some of the boss fights when you had to get off the bosses for a while, and then you had to reset the dots.
Necromancers got reworked in terms that like with the new swap skill which they have, they can go like almost like without dot build. Like they're gonna do like I think 60 or 70% with like that skill. Like it's insane. So basically what you do is you remember Ice Spike, how strong it was?
Yes.
And this like new skill is called Soul Rip. It's like 3 times stronger than that, but you cast it only like once in like 5 seconds. So like you mostly rely on that skill, and it's actually stronger right now than like the older build.
Okay.
Like older build was with that.
Even so, it's stronger than before. Basically, this is a good patch for Necromancers.
Yeah, Necromancers. Yeah.
Would you suggest Necromancer for free-to-play players? Or would you like probably suggest other classes?
I would just suggest Crystal Shaper just because.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Crystal Shaper. I'm guessing Crystal Shaper is already SS.
Of course.
It's gotten even more buffs. It's literally like the god DPS basically. It has the range, it's insane damage. Now, what makes the Crystal Shaper so good?
Just because like he got the patches and like I think he got the buffs in like 2 or 3 patches in like 3.0, but like when they really started to pop off is when they got the tier 3 bonus. It's like insane. Like you do. Like basically what you're doing with Crystal Shaper is you're like 90% of the time you're like just using your maximum attack skill. You know, like on the Necromancer you need to use that and like collect the shards and then and you do strong skill like once every 6 seconds or 7 seconds. On other classes you're just like trying to proc something and there you just like try to do. But on Crystal Shaper it's like boom 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 like every second.
Constantly.
Doing, like
So Crystal Shaper is by far like the best DPS for free to play or competitive players or whale or whatever. It's good in everything. So if you want to choose an all-powerful DPS, go for the Crystal Shaper. So let's move on. Since we're talking about long-range DPS, magical DPSs, let's keep going with the Frost Whisperer. How is the Frost Whisperer? It used to be very strong, but
the thing is, when people had tier 3 2 pieces, like when it was that stage of the game, they were the strongest damage dealers right now because like tier 3 2 piece bonus is actually pretty strong. Again, like I'm gonna remind you of the like Almighty Ice Spike skill.
Yeah.
And tier 3 tier 3 2 parts gives like extra dot damage from that skill, which like scales very well. And it's like again pretty solid class. You're gonna have enough DPS in most of the dungeons, and you have escape. You have like durability with like an ice block.
Ice block, yeah.
Yeah. So I would put them in S probably.
They're strong in PvP too, right?
They're strong in PvP, yes. Of course, they are not as strong right now because people. I don't think like I don't actually know how they rework that, but like Frost Whispers are not one-shotting people as often as they used to. I don't know why, but it's just like how it goes based on my experience. Maybe I just got like more crit resistance and overall durability, but
they're like a decent DPS class to play. You're not gonna go.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
Then let's keep moving on. Let's go to the Flame Singer.
I love that class.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where would you put it on the tier list?
I love it, but I'm gonna put it to S. No. I'm gonna put it to B actually, sorry.
And from S to B. Okay,
No.
why is it not an S? Why is it a B?
B in reality.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I remember Flame Singers, there was one period they were super strong, but they relied a lot on their dots.
Yes. And that's their weakness actually.
Yeah.
Because how Flame Singers work is that like they base their whole damage from like single fireball. Like what they do is like you buff maximally with your first fireball, like with your pet and ult and like Iron Will and everything. You just continue to like spam the fireball, and the first fireball you did like the buffed one. It like the overall damage counts from that. You understand? So but the weakness is that like most of the bosses in current reality, they reset those dots, so you need to reapply like the new.
Yeah, that was the biggest issues with the like a lot of like the Flame Singers want to start the boss fight immediately after mob so they can keep like the stacks going. So I wouldn't suggest it for like free to play too, because it's really hard to like understand and get into. But it's like a fun class when you finally like get used to the bosses and the class. It could be like a fun class to play, but I don't suggest it at all. There's some better choices.
They also gave him swap skill, which like made him like almost no dot class. But again, like the damage from that skill is not that good, and also like the weakness of this class is that if you go and try to build a real good Flame Singer, you're only building for Flame Singer because he has an individual build.
Yes,
he has the Nick of Time build in Reforges, which like no other class uses, I believe. So if you are like working on that, like Reforges, you are not working on anything else, like any other classes, because like if you are damaged as like Crystal Shaper, you are getting Reforges, which are also valuable on like most of the healers and tanks, and like most of other classes. So like if you want to just jump to another class, you're okay. You're gonna help the whole package as you like jump to other class. But for Flame Singers almost cannot do that because like they're mainly focusing on haste. Like they are not focusing as much on crit. And like everything is different for them.
So Flame Singer, B tier. Let's keep going with the ranged magical DPSs, which let's go Fire Frost. Fire Frost was always bad, and I'm guessing it's still really bad.
Well, one day Spicy is gonna make Fire Frost Mage great again. Right now.
So it's a yikes. I'm gonna put it on the bottomest tier of them all.
Yeah, it's like C.
It's a yikes tier. Nobody likes it, but I mean, I just don't understand like because they're trying to include both like the flame and the ice type, right? But that usually never works in any type of MMO that I've played. It usually never works. Now, do you know why they're so bad?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just the way that it's designed. Like the skills don't interact that well with each other, and they also don't have like that big ratios to like do big damage. And like of course you could tune the like every class with like tier set bonuses, right? Like you could release tier 3 or tier 4, which could like absolutely save this class, but they do nothing for it. Like they just keep it as it is, like weak, and no changes almost. They got like some buffs in like 3.0, I believe. They were not like nearly impactful as you
Yeah,
see.
okay. So, Fire Frost or Flame Stinger not suggested as class to play.
Yes, but Flame Stinger is better than Fire Frost, like totally better. Flame Stinger
yeah,
is
yes,
like,
for sure. But the both of them are like, if you want to choose like a magical range DPS, there's a lot better options out there to choose.
yeah.
Let's move on to Chaos Warlock.
Yeah.
Okay, already
Chaos
hear from a
Warlocks,
smile that it's not a good class.
Well, the thing is, they're super trash in PvE. Like, they're very bad. Like, I think we talked about Eliana DH5 before, like how she's doing insane damage on Necromancer. She does like 11 mil, I believe, like on her Necromancer. When she tries Chaos Warlock, she does 3 million or 4 million, which is yeah.
That's a yikes. I'm just putting it on yikes already. That's like
yeah.
That's good.
But
That's good.
the thing that they are somewhat good in PvP, so that's something. Like, something is better than nothing.
Yeah, it's true. Something is better than nothing. I like that. So we gotta put the Chaos Rocker on yikes. And let's keep moving to the Arcane Scholar.
I love this class just because of his ult.
I always loved it too. Like the support class, like they even buffed that ult, I think, to 40 seconds from what it used to be.
Like 20 seconds. It was 10 seconds and now it's
20 seconds. Yeah, they doubled it. So it's so good. I love having like Arcane Scholar in my big raids and stuff, and even dungeons. And as a support class, I always give it an extra tier. Even though it's not as strong as the other classes, I would always give it an extra tier. So where would you put it and why?
Even like compared to the thing that you said that you were giving him extra tiers, I would still put him in S and not in SS.
Yeah, S. I would put it in S too. Yeah. I think it's not SS, but it's like an S. How is this damage compared to the other classes?
It's got pretty solid DPS. Like, it can be somewhat close to like Crystal Shaper, but the thing is, the Arcane Scholar is more based on RNG. As I believe, they are more dependent on disintegrate, like if disintegrate procs or not. And that's why, like, if you are having good fight for like disintegrate procs on you like often, then you are good. And if it just does not proc, then you are doing the same damage as like other lower classes. But again, like because of the ult and because of his AoE damage, it's pretty good in my opinion. Like, it's S totally. Like, if it was S plus, I would totally put him in S plus.
S plus, SS. I mean, Arcane Scholar is always nice because you're helping your team. Everybody will like include you in teams as an Arcane Scholar, in my opinion, if you have like decent stats.
And also in PvP, they're very good. Like the Black Hole skill which they have, it's like one of the worst things that I've encountered, because unless you have Iron Will or some type of like crowd control escape, you're gonna die from that, because you're just jumping for like 4 or 5 seconds, and it pulls like insane amounts of people into that black hole. So
yeah, the black hole is really fun for like PvP and stuff.
Yeah,
really good skill. So it's a good like overall class. Definitely suggested for like new players and stuff if you want to try it out, because as a new player it's hard to catch up to like all these hardcore DPSs if you don't spend money. So the best options are like classes like Arcane Scholar.
Yes, because again, like the top players are gonna want to like flex their DPS.
Yeah, so they want Arcane Scholar in their team.
Yeah, ult does not depend on your like progress of the like account. So like even if you are like very weak, your ult is gonna buff like the same as it would if you were like top player. So buff is pretty juicy.
Now, I see here the Dune Stylus and the Airbender. Is the Airbender is long range, right?
I believe his base attacks are long range. I'm not.
Or is it that Dune Stylus that is the long range?
No, Dune Stylus is absolute melee. The Airbender has basic attacks range, I believe. But like he has his ult where he like unleashes the tornado, and it has like good range, but you still need to be somewhat close to enemies for it to work.
So it's like a mid-range class.
Yes, and it's not that tanky to be like that up close to people. So I think that's one of the downfalls.
And where would you put it in the tier list?
I'm putting him in C also because
Also, yikes. Seems
damage
like
wise,
the new class introduced have been like average. Hasn't been like
yeah,
anything wow.
yeah.
But we can just keep moving honestly. From the airbender, let's keep continuing with the long range, but not we're done with the magical. So let's go to marksman. How is the marksman?
Marksmen are actually not as strong as they used to be before, just because of the way that crystal shapers are rocking everything and anything. But overall, they're like not that bad, and their ult is very good. Like with AOE, it's like hits like 5 people. Like their strongest skill hits 5 people instead of one for like 20 seconds, which is pretty insane.
And it's a very like friendly class to play too. You don't rely on too many skills. It's like
Yeah,
very
also
straightforward.
like yeah, that's one of the points actually, that it's one of the easiest classes to play. It's like insanely easy to play, and like you literally just need to press like 4 skills in the same order and you're good. So yeah, marksman is good, but like damage wise it's not at the same level of crystal shaper. Like
No, nobody's near there. Okay, let's move to the demon hunter. Where would you put the demon hunter? Because it's always been like a fight between the demon hunter and the marksman throughout the patches. In this early, it was demon hunter on top, then it was marksman. Like, where is the demon hunter now?
Like I don't think we discussed where I'm putting like marksman. I'm putting marksman in A, just because of the way that his damage and like sustainability is overall. And demon hunter I would put in B, because he's a little bit worse than marksman, because he doesn't have the same passive as marksman has. Like marksman does, I believe, 40% more damage to the people with like over 80% HP. And at least, like, especially in overlords, there is an overlord debuff, which like debuffs the party's damage to the overlord boss for like 12%, above 80%. And like marksman is pretty good in there, because he just like spams and he gets the boss down like
and the demon hunter, you have to kind of time your attacks to get your proper.
Demon hunter needs a way to ramp up, like he needs time to ramp up his damage, and his ult is like not that good in PvE. And it's just not on the same level. They buffed demon hunter, so it's not as bad as before. They actually really buffed him pretty well. Like you can technically play him and like do content, but it's just not up there as like marksman.
Okay, so that is all the ranged attackers, I think. Let's move to the one that is like medium range, which is the Spellblade. Spellblade was good in 3.0, if I'm not wrong, right? Or was it the Blade Master? Was it Blade Master or was it Spellblade that was good in 3.0?
I'm not sure who you're talking about, because in 3.0, like at the beginning of 3.0, like all rogue classes were kind of...
Yeah, but in the end, there wasn't one like rogue class. Shadow Dancer, yeah, my bad. But let's talk about the Spellblade.
The history of Spellblade has always been that he was pretty strong in PvP, like one of the strongest classes in PvP, but in PvE it was like absolutely the nightmare. Like it was super weak, like it was one of the worst DPS wise. But actually they buffed him like recently, and I think they changed something with their global cooldowns of like how certain skills interact with each other, and now he does pretty good damage. Like he's at the same level as Shadow Dancer right now. So I'm putting him in A.
Okay. Yeah, they had like the nice thing about the Spellblade is like it's melee, but it also has like mid-range attacks. If you have to get off the boss, you can still like keep attacking. And yeah, it's just like a fun class overall to play. So let's move on to the Blade Master. Where would you put the Blade Master?
I would put Blade Master in B.
B.
Because it's not as strong as like other rogues.
Yeah, and you don't have like the mid-range too. You have to be like up close to the boss. And they depend on dots, don't they? Like the Blade Master?
Yeah, they do. They do depend on dots, and as I said earlier, like most bosses, at some point they just drop those dots. So you kind of need to reapply them. And especially like if it's the part, like imagine you use your dot skill. I think their dot skill has cooldown for like 20 seconds, and imagine you applied your dot, and that second boss like reset your dot, so for like 19 seconds you're doing almost like 50% damage of your like of what you should be
Yeah.
doing.
And what about the Shadow Dancer?
Shadow Dancer is with is with Spellblade, I believe. He's like pretty good, but again, like I'm putting Spellblade and Shadow Dancer in A just because they're melee. In this game, for damage dealer, it's pretty hard to be melee.
Yeah, melee's always been hard, like since the start, like being able to sustain damage and deal good damage.
Because you need to like change targets and jump here and jump there and
yeah, get off the bus. Now, which of these three would you say is the strongest in PvP?
In PvP, Spellblade, absolutely.
Spellblade. Okay, that is the assassins. Let's move on to the last one of my last melee classes. Let's start with the Berserker. Now, the Berserker got a buff in 3.0, but I heard like it's not that strong anymore.
It's a very sad story actually, because with tier 3 they actually got nerfed, I believe, because earlier what they used to do was do like two parts of this, 2 parts of that, 2 parts of like other stuff. They were like hybrid, but right now I don't know entirely why isn't it viable anymore. But with tier 3, they're actually doing less damage, I believe, than they did before.
Yeah, because they used to be on S, so I'm guessing they're like A now, right?
Yeah, I'm putting him A right now. Again, the fact that they are melee doesn't help at all, because
that is true.
It's painful.
Then Weapon Master is also like A, I'm guessing?
They're a little bit better than Berserker, and actually, Weapon Masters are getting huge buffs in the future.
Okay.
And there are so many Weapon Masters on like Asian servers. I've seen the screenshots, and they're gonna get pretty juicy. And right now, they're not on the same level as like most of the ranged damage dealer, just because of the like mechanics working in this game, and being melee DP is so punishing.
Yeah. So you would like put them on A right now, but they will become like S or even SS.
Yes, but damage-wise, again, like if you are standing, if it's like standing boss fight and you are doing nothing, Weapon Master is gonna do like the same damage as the damage, like most damage goes in S class, I believe.
Yeah.
But again, just because of the thing that he needs to jump here and jump there, of course he is pretty mobile with his like he has to jump like every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But again, like if you are swapping targets even within this 4 seconds, then it's you're just losing DPS.
Okay, let's move on to the Gladiator. Where would you put the Gladiator?
I would put it on A.
Also A.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty happy for Gladiators, because at last they are like strong. Like as melee, like I believe they're one of the strongest right now. And especially with the thing that they have like dodge damage, like
they do.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The way they buffed them was with like tier 3. I believe they are doing like dot damage, and you're like you need to get more haste and more stuff, and it's like easier to get in my opinion. So it's better.
If you could choose one melee class out of all the melee classes to play, which would you choose? And now I'm talking like all the melee classes, like the Spellblade, Shadow Dancer, Blade Master, Berserker, Weapon, Gladiator, Inquisitor. Just like
if I was free to play, I would totally choose Gladiator.
Okay, and if you spend money like a lot and you want to compete as a melee,
Master, because you know what's good thing about Gladiator? He doesn't need his second legendary. Like one of the things that makes you to pay money to this game is
legendaries.
Like, to own double legendary.
Yeah.
For Gladiator, in order to push his max potential, you don't really need that. Like one legendary is enough, which you can absolutely manage as a free-to-play player. So Gladiator is juicy.
Okay. So Gladiator as a free-to-play and Weapon Master as like a spender. And Weapon Master will get a buff in the future, so that's a good choice. Now let's talk about the last 2 classes. We have first of all the Inquisitor. Inquisitor used to be decent up here, but it depends a lot on RNG. How is the Inquisitor now?
Inquisitor, it's not as strong as it actually, like there have been many misconceptions about Inquisitor. People didn't like Inquisitor in 1.0, but they were pretty strong. Like I was Inquisitor on my server, like I was playing on second server, and I was out damaging even the whales there in 1.0. Like, I even have screenshots of that.
But what about now?
Now they're not strong. they're just not putting as much DPS as you need to. Like, if you want to go to the latest rates, especially since he's a melee, you're not gonna be able to do it because like even top inquisitors, they just want ranged classes because the damage is not up there.
So would you put it on A or B?
I'm placing him on B.
B, yeah.
He's like nowhere near to Weapon Master or Berserker or Gideon.
But it's not like completely trash too. It's like
you could
mad
like,
plus.
most of the like 90% of the content with the turret. But again, like why would you do that if there
that is true. That's better male options. Then last but not least, we have the actually and least the Dune Stylist. I'm guessing it's a bottom tier class.
They are one of the like saddest things I have seen in this game.
Maybe I should make like an own ranking for this. Can I just delete it? Can we just I'm not even gonna put it in there. It's gonna stay out of the tier list. Yeah, it's like, not allowed.
I don't even understand why this class exists, and I'm sorry for the like Dune Style users out there, like if there are any.
Sorry, Dune Style users, but you guys are not allowed into the tier list. Yeah. Okay, that was all the classes. Thank you so much, by the way, for the help. I couldn't have done this without you guys. Big shout out to Diamond. Make sure you guys like the video for Diamond's sake. You know, show your support.
I like you now.
Hell yes! Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you guys for watching. This is the tier list. It's done. Thanks so much to Diamond for helping me out. The SS tiers, we have Saint, Archon, the healers. Yeah, the Battle Mage, the tank. Then the Crystal Shaper, the DPS. Now that is probably the best choices you can have as a free-to-play player or a player that's been playing for a long time. And it seems like it's been like a trend that these classes have always been on the top for a long time, especially after 2.3.0. They've been on the top, so you're not gonna go wrong with these classes no matter what. They might drop down to S eventually, but I don't see them like dropping far down on the tier list. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't. Follow all my socials if you guys haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video.